Hi, everybody. This is Chris Head with this week's legislative update from Richmond. First, let me say Happy Valentine's Day. I'm recording this on February 14th, the 35th day of this year's 46-day session. We're in the last 2 weeks now, so this is when the final negotiations on things really start. There are a lot of things still working, but this week I wanted to focus on some key features in the budget. Now, in odd-numbered years, the budget is sometimes called the caboose budget, and that's because the actual budget is for 2 full years and it's done in even-numbered years. So in this one, we make adjustments and allowances for variations in income to the state so that things stay balanced. Now, as you know, we experienced a budget shortfall due primarily to lowered incomes. As much as the governor likes to crow about how much better the job market is and how many jobs have been created, well, the fact of the matter is that most of the jobs have been at lower wages than the ones we lost. So incomes were down, and as a result, so were revenues. We needed to close a $1 billion gap. At the same time, there were some necessary increases that had to happen, most notably pay increases for our state troopers and county sheriff's deputies. Both the House and the Senate have passed a budget, and now we move into the conference phase of the process. This is where a selected group of conferees from the House Appropriations Committee and from the Senate Finance Committee will hammer out the final product that we'll vote on for final passage, and that usually happens on the last day of session. There's still a long way to go in that process, but I'd like to give you some of the highlights that are in the House version of the budget. First of all, let's talk about state employees and state troopers. Now, our budget invests resources to make a compensation package for state employees and law enforcement a reality. Now, all told, the total cost of the 3% pay raise for state employees and restoring the 2% pay raise for state-supported employees was $88.7 million. Now, funding is also included to provide our deputy sheriffs with their compression pay adjustments, and finally an additional $15 million is included to address the starting salaries and compression of our state troopers and the Capitol Police officers. In K-12 education, last year the House reestablished the policy of sending back a portion of the lottery proceeds directly to our school divisions on a per-pupil basis without a required local match. This year the House budget ups that to 40%, or $218.7 million in lottery profits directly back to our school divisions. Now, they'll get flexibility in allocating these dollars where they think it's best served, whether that's for a pay raise for their teachers or funding their share of getting to 100% of the required VRS contribution rate. Now, in higher ed, access and affordability to higher education has also been a top priority for years. Last year, we made a significant additional investment in higher education, but because of the shortfall, cuts of nearly $80 million were announced by the governor. We restored $21 million to higher ed to reduce those cuts so that no school had a reduction of greater than 1.4% of their budget. Under Health and Human Resources, we're going to provide $28.5 million in an increase in mental health services to include expanding the GAP program to cover individuals up to 100% of the federal poverty level. And we're also going to provide funding for supportive housing and same-day access to mental health services. Our budget recommendations will add an additional 144 DD waiver slots in Medicaid to meet the needs of Virginia's most vulnerable citizens. So how do we do all of this in a budget shortfall year? Well, by making some significant cuts in other areas. We also managed to do all of this without raising taxes, imposing the new fees that the governor wanted, and without expanding Medicaid. Now, to wrap it all up, the House budget recommendations adhere to our commitment to strategically focus our resources by keeping our promises to our state employees and to fund the core services of government without expanding others. And as we continue to move through the process, I'll keep you updated. If you have specific questions about the budget or any legislation, or if you need help with a state agency, please contact me. While we're in session, you can reach me by phone at 804-698-1017 or by email at delchead@house.virginia.gov. I'll post another video next week or sooner if something really big happens. Until then, take care and God bless.